This is Scott Becker with the Becker Business and the Becker Private Equity Podcast. This will also be a special combined episode with Becker's Healthcare. This episode today, we're going to feature a brilliant woman leader, Susan Barrett, who's a general counsel and chief compliance officer of a company called Monte Nido. Monte Nido is in the eating disorder area. She's a brilliant leader. We'll talk a little bit about her career, about what Monte Nido does, where they're most focused, the trends they're watching, and a lot more. Susan, can you take a moment to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about Monte Nido?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I'm Susan Barrett. I am the general counsel and the chief compliance officer at Monte Nido. We are a leading provider of eating disorder treatment. So we have services through approximately 50 brick and mortar locations, as well as virtually across the U.S. So we're doing every level of care here. It's inpatient, residential, partial hospitalization, intensive outpatient, and more recently, outpatient levels of care as well. So it's a comprehensive staff. We have psychiatrists, other allied healthcare providers like nurse practitioners, therapists, registered dietitians, nurses, recovery coaches. All of them play a part in the recovery journey. So I've been with the company for a little over 3 years now. It's an excellent place to work. Smart, passionate colleagues. And just from a personal standpoint, it's pretty rewarding just given the number of clients that we've helped recover from eating disorders, which is a pretty deadly mental health disease.
So fascinating sort of growth story for the company, for Monte Nido, in an area where there's so much prevalence and so much challenge and so important. Talk about, as you head into 2026, what are you most focused on and excited about at Monte Nido?
Yeah, I'm excited about the continued opportunity to increase the access to care, both brick and mortar and virtually, to reach more patients that are in need of the services. So, last year we had Andy Blankemeyer. He was appointed our CEO. He's really passionate about the work that we do. Really, 2 new board members. They really deep expertise in healthcare and behavioral health. We had our 2025 outcomes report, which all of that showed, really strong symptom reduction and client satisfaction. So I expect all of this to continue. It's a good time to be a part of the behavioral health space, in my opinion, because there's so many people to reach here. And I think it's exciting, for the company to continue to grow, and everyone that I work with is super passionate about what we're doing. So I think we can continue the good services, the good outcomes, and just continue to reach more people virtually and in person.
I'd love to talk to you for a moment about leadership, because Andy Blankemeyer is a fantastic leader. You yourself are having a fantastic leadership career. I saw recently you were named as a top counsel in a certain group, and congratulations. Talk a little bit about, when you think about leadership, about what resonates with you, what types of skill sets, and what advice might you give to emerging leaders? I remember Andy from, I think, when he was in Ohio before he was with this company, and a tremendous leader. But talk about like your own leadership thoughts, what you see in Andy, what you see in people generally that you would maybe give advice to on emerging leaders.
Yeah, I think from my perspective, the number one thing is to, work hard and do good work. That's obviously step one. But you have to build relationships and trust with the people that you work with. Particularly in my space, being the chief compliance officer and the general counsel, I want people to feel that they can reach out to me at any time with any question or concern, because I want to be proactive in addressing issues. I want people to feel comfortable, and I want them to feel, I'm internalizing their problems and making it my problem and being innovative with them to find a solution. So I think it's, you want to be responsive. You got to understand the full picture from people. Don't be afraid to pick up the phone and just find ways to assist. And people want to have a culture of compliance, right? They want to do the right things. And so whatever I can do to assist them, there's no, you know, I am the only attorney at the company right now, and anyone can reach out to me at any time. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. It's all important to me. So I think build that trust with your colleagues, because when it comes to a situation where they are stuck, you want them to look to you as a resource. You can protect the company from risk and liability in those situations. So it's a unique position to be in, but it's a really important role for a company to have, a leader, a general counsel, and or a chief compliance officer that has those relationships with staff members.
No, it's truly remarkable. And in the eating disorder space, what trends are you watching currently? What sort of is top of mind in the eating disorders area?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me on the legal side, like I do a daily review of, the current administration and any impact on the healthcare sector, whether that's court decisions, like for instance, Ninth Circuit just issued the appellate ruling on ECRA. We have the executive orders, how that impacts us, any actions by administrative bodies. I handle all our employment work, EEOC decisions, any HIPAA related with HHS. So I'm constantly, reviewing and seeing how that's evolving and impacting us. And then if it does, it's determining next steps, whether that's training with employees, updating our policies, and trying to be proactive versus reactive with the current administration and their impact on healthcare. I think the other trend for us, and really I think it's just anyone in healthcare right now who's in legal, you kind of have to be on top of the latest laws and regulations related to the use of technology and AI. I mean, it's a hot topic right now, and we want to increase efficiency in the patient care experience. So, in order to do that, we have to be able to manage risk and comply with HIPAA and privacy laws, and that's definitely a newer topic in the past year or so that you have to kind of be all over, because it's important for the business.
And I can imagine that every family, every person that has a eating disorder is also looking at ChatGPT and online resources and so forth. And are there challenges in sort of pushing through that and being able to talk to patients, talk to families about both converging the synergies of what they're seeing online versus what you folks are doing? Are those evolving issues?
Those are evolving issues. I mean, the internet and AI is a great thing, right? In my opinion, we can use it to really enhance the patient care experience, and I think there's a lot of value to it. There's also some dangers, what you just mentioned on misconceptions from what you read online. But I think our company does a really good job of being transparent with families, having open lines of communication, having good relationships with outside providers, so that they're getting firsthand information and medical opinions versus just what they're seeing online, which isn't always the most accurate.
Thank you so much. Susan, it is a great pleasure to get a chance to visit with you today, a remarkable leader and professional. I want to thank you for joining us on this combined episode of the Becker's Healthcare Podcast and the Becker Private Equity and Business Podcast. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks so much for having me, Scott. I really appreciate it.